I walked in this morning and saw him, and I said, "Hey, Trace, man, how you feeling?"
And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so good.
Who was interested first?
We welcome Trace and Lydia Bates. Here they are.
Okay, so y'all thought I was going to be up here to say something about Trace, but I'm actually up here to say something about Lydia. So it's kind of hard at first when a new person comes into our house, because I think everybody makes it hard on the new person because they're so protective of their sibling or something, and I think the new person coming in is so overwhelmed with our family, they're kind of shy and quiet. So Lydia came in, she was kind of shy and quiet at first, and hard to get to know for me because she's so shy and quiet. But she's really not all that shy and quiet when you get to know her. And over the months and months, I've got to know her little laugh and smile. And I can read little expressions that she makes without her saying a word. And she's got the prettiest smile. But I've seen her go through so much. I've seen her go through good times and fun times, and through all this wedding planning, I've got to see her go through some hard times. Y'all should have seen us 2 days ago trying to find another venue because it was saying 90% rain. And Lydia handled it all just like she does everything. She has such a laid-back, sweet personality, and even if she doesn't feel like smiling on the outside, she still tries so hard because she's got just this sweet, I'm going to make the best of everything attitude. She is just so even-keeled, and that's what Trace needed, because he is the teaser. I used to always say, you're a little instigator. And Lydia just takes it all just in stride with a smile. He can, throw his little jokes, and she just smiles and laughs about him. And the more I've seen them together, the more I'm sad. They are so perfect together. Even one of the kids the other day, I was talking, and I was talking about how some of the couples just mesh so good, and certain ones just really, their personalities mesh so good. And Gordon spoke up and said, what about Trace and Lydia? I mean, they really go together. They are perfect together. And I thought, other people are noticing too. They really do. They are perfect together. But I can remember early on, I was sitting in church on a Wednesday night. And our church service runs really late on Wednesday night. And we were probably the last church.
That's because we're praying for all of you.
But we're probably the last church to get out on Wednesday night. And I noticed that Trace just kind of stood up and he's trying to sneak out really early. And, Dad's praying, and I'm thinking, wow, where's he going? And so I'm texting and going, where are you going? And you didn't answer me. So I thought, that's weird. So a little bit later, it really got my curiosity up. And I'm like, Trace, where are you going? And he finally answered and said, I'm going to Josie's for supper. And I thought, wow, that is a really late supper. Since when does Josie invite somebody over for supper at 9:30 or this late? And I thought, that's weird. So I text him again. I'm like, why is she having you for supper so late? That's random. He goes, oh, it's kind of like a thank you for all the work me and Warren did for her. And I thought, well, that's sweet. Come to find out.
Wait a minute. If you got Lydia for the work you did at Josie's, boy, you got a good deal.
Come to find out, there was a little matchmaking going on behind the scenes. This was not an ordinary thank you supper. This was, I want to take care of my brother and introduce him to this girl that I think is so perfect for him. So anyway, I think I first found out about it that he was going to this supper, but I still didn't know there was a special girl involved. It wasn't until Trace got deployed on an emergency rescue just a few days after that, and Lawson went on this rescue, and we have this girls group when our guys are gone, our sons or husbands or boyfriends are gone. we text each other. Tiffany goes, hey, what do you think about Trace's new girl? And I said, what girl? He said, oh, never mind. She said, I said, wait a minute, you've already spoken now, tell all. And she said, I don't know, I just know I was on the phone with Lawson and Trace was on the phone with a girl at the same time. And I said, do you have pictures? And she said, yes. I remember seeing this picture that she had and thought, okay, wow. I mean, like, he really stepped up some notches. He really did. But anyway, Lydia is the kind of personality I feel like she rubs off on everybody. I cannot do this as good as my kids do, but this is how good she rubs off on everybody. Just after hanging around our house, almost every single person now in our family, when they go to greet you or say, closing remarks, they'll say, bye, because she has this special way that she closes and says bye, and everybody says it the exact same way. She rubs off on everybody. Okay, Lydia, she's laughing, but I want you to hear it. See? And everybody in the family now does it, and I'm like, no, that's how to influence people. They all adore Lydia. She really is a sweetheart. And Trace, I could say a million things about you too, but I just am so grateful to be getting Lydia as a grandmother. As a daughter-in-law. You can tell that I have not slept in about 4 days. Sorry, you are not my grandmother, but anyway, the blessed part is legitimate. Anyway, I'm giving up now.
Okay, I think that's going to be hard to top.
I've known Trace for about 7 years, and I walked in this morning and saw him, and I said, hey, Trace, man, how you feeling? You nervous? He said, nervous? Are the Vols playing today? Yesterday we heard some great speeches about Trace, and they referenced a lot of big names that you could use to describe Trace. You guys coming through? Come on through. That you could use to describe Trace, and adjectives, and I thought of a few names off the top. A lot of people have already referenced John Wayne. You could use John Wayne. He knows all the Chuck Norris books, or jokes. He's got them all memorized. Roy Rogers. He can throw the ball like Peyton Manning. He can juke you like Alvin Kamara. And he'll even take a knee in the end zone like Tim Tebow after scoring a touchdown on you while yelling in your face, "Too easy!" Some would also say you could describe him as Gus from Psych.
You know that's right.
But for tonight, we'll let you be Sean since it's your wedding night, my man. But you could use all those names and you could take their best qualities and you could describe Trace. The word, it's not a name, but the word that comes to my mind when I think of Trace is partner. And I've never been on the battlefield or on duty with him during all his police adventures, but I could say that there's nobody else in life that I would want watching my six than Trace Bates. And, no matter what it is, he is always, always, always the first person I call, no matter what it is I want to do. Whether it's football, and that's flag, or fantasy, or we want to go on a trip, anything. Trace is the first person I call. When I decided to go to Crown College, I begged him for 6 months, Trace, come alongside me, please, please, please. And eventually he came. And when I wanted to start playing football, called up Trace right alongside me the whole way. And when I started my barbershop just last year, called up Trace, and he was there till 2 in the morning, helping me lay the floors and get that place ready. And Trace is just the guy that you want to have right there next to you, no matter what it is you do. Because Trace always finds a way to win. If you guys know Trace, he hates to lose. I know so many times in the backyard playing basketball with him, and you could beat him 6, 7, 8 times. but you were not going to leave that court until he got his win. And eventually he would get his win. And I can remember the first flag football tournament we went to. We got destroyed. We had no idea what we were walking into, and we lost every game by at least 3 or 4 touchdowns. But I remember, I think it was the last game, and Trace, we had no answers. We're down by 2 or 3 touchdowns. I was ready to give up at that point. And Trace, he comes up, and he says, we get in the huddle. I'm like, guys, I don't know what to do. What do y'all want to do? And Trace's like, I'm going deep. Just throw the ball up. I'll come down with it. And sure enough, I think the next 3 offensive possessions we had, he went deep, and we just threw the ball up, and he came down with it every single time. And he just does not give up. And that can be frustrating for someone like myself, who's also very competitive, and especially when it comes to my fantasy football league that I started with the hopes of winning. I bought a glorious ring. I bought a belt. It hangs in the barbershop on the wall. And I messed up by inviting Trace because he has won the championship 3 of the last 4 years. And now hanging in my barbershop forever is Trace Bates, Tom Cruise, on the championship belt. He just always, always perseveres, and I am so, so happy for him to have this moment. I'm so happy for Lydia. And Lydia, I can promise you this, that Trace is the best partner you could have to spend the rest of your life with. And I can promise you that he will never, ever, ever give up on you. And no matter the odds, no matter the obstacles, you can count on him to come through for you. So, one last thing I'd like to say. We have a gift here from the members of our flag football team that are here for Trace. Christian has it here. We've got a football here, and we've all signed it and given you just a little bit of encouragement, a little note for you that we want you to have from us. Trace, he has a knack for bringing the best out of people. And this year, it reminds me with our team this year, we separated from having just one team to having 2 teams. And he took on the second team, and he said, hey, just give me all the guys you're not using. Just give them to me. I'll take them. I'll make them the best that I can. And currently that team sits at number 1 in the standings. They're 3-0, and he's led them all by himself, and he's doing a great job. And we love you, man. We're going to miss you out there these next couple weeks, but you're going to have a good time on your honeymoon. Love you, my guy.
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, I am Lydia's little sister Damaris. And unfortunately, I will always be Lydia's little sister because she has reached heights that I sadly will never obtain. On the flip side, that also means I will always be able to have Lydia's dryer shrunk clothes for the rest of my life. As I was preparing my speech, I was thinking, what makes Lydia Lydia? And I came up with 7 things. First is her adventurous spirit. Whether it's driving down a back road she's never gone down, moving to a new place, hiking a new trail, or visiting a new state, Lydia loves a good adventure. Second is her beauty. You might be thinking, Damaris, that's obvious. And I would say, you're right, Lydia's gorgeous. And when I say her beauty, I also mean her inner beauty. She's loyal, kind, and she wants to make a good impact on the people in her life. Third is her need to get things done. And by that, I mean Lydia loves staying busy. For example, if any of you have ever watched a movie with Lydia, you know she is either gonna clean, edit, sleep, or do a puzzle. She just cannot sit still. She needs to get things done. She loves having people over or going on trips with her friends, even if this means being crazy busy. The busyness gets amplified when she has to move. She cannot sit still until everything is gorgeously decorated, and only then can she really just sit down and rest. Another one of Lydia's traits that came to mind is storytelling. Lydia absolutely loves telling a good story. When she was younger, she'd read us stories and she would mimic what the characters did. When they'd giggle, she'd giggle. When they growled, she'd growl. When they spit, she'd spit. She would tell stories of her day at the table, and I would sit and I would try to mimic what she would do. Because when Lydia tells a story, everyone listens, and then they would laugh so hard. And I was like, I want that in my life too. But she's really good at making even the little, seemingly boring details seem so funny. Fifth is her ability to include younger children and make them feel special. I'm actually 6 or so years younger than her, but I have never felt that age gap. Lydia has always treated me as her equal, and when she didn't, I let her know. Lydia, your ability to connect with kids is something I really admire. I know you're going to make an amazing mother someday. Sixth is her joy. A lot of my childhood memories of Lydia are filled with laughter. In the midst of problems and annoyances, Lydia always tries to see the good. I admire that, and I want to thank both you and Trace for all the laughter that you bring into my life. Seventh is curiosity. Sometimes I think her adventuring and the curiosity just go hand in hand. I remember one time, Lydia, Hannah, me, and another friend were going to the Smokies to see the sunrise. We woke up at like 4 o'clock or something, and we drive up there, and the place that we were originally going to go to was like, I don't know, it was closed or something. So then we're driving around, and we end up driving down this back road, and the back road predictably ended in a one-way driveway, you know, just a little tiny old driveway. And we're driving down this thing, and she's like, I'm going to get that picture. And so then there's like this little clearing, and her and Hannah jump out of the car and are just taking pictures. And I'm sitting in the back because I am a very cautiously curious person, whereas Lydia is a very daring, curious person. And she just gets out there and she's taking pictures. And I'm sitting in the car and I'm like, I'm going to get shot. I'm going to die today. And along comes this old red truck right at us. And there's like barely any room. I don't even know how we got past that truck. But we get around it and we keep driving. And I'm just looking out the window. And I see this old rundown barn. And I look a little bit closer. And there's this mutilated pig or something. And it had like this huge tumor on its face. It was the weirdest thing. And so I'm like so confused. So we keep driving. And there's this old rundown house. And in the front is this guy, this shirtless old man on a rocker with a gun in his lap. And I'm like, at that point, I think Lydia decided that she was never going to take her little sister on a girls' trip again. But we finally got out of there and got back home. This was not the only time Lydia's curiosity got us in trouble. Lydia is such a wonderful treasure. She's joyful, adventurous, creative, funny, amazing with kids, and so much more. Trace, you're such an amazing guy. I probably don't say that enough. I'm not very good at compliments. I think my first impression of you was, wow, he's really nice. He would come over to our house and he would spend time with each of us. And he would get there and he would just ask us how our day is going. And I'm not used to that. I don't really like attention. But it was just so sweet. When Lydia and I would talk about who we'd marry someday, I always said I was going to marry a cowboy. He's going to be a southern dude. And he's going to love horses. And Lydia said, I'm going to marry a business dude. He's going to be city slicker, so on one of those high rises. So I just want you to know she stole my idea. So apparently now I'm going to have to marry the city slicker. Oh, man. Yeah, I just thought, what in the world? What is going on? She goes, I'm going on a date. I'm going horse riding. I'm going horseback riding. And I said, what? Lydia? What are you doing? But you know what? As I got to know him, I realized how perfect he is for Lydia. All the things she never realized she needed, he did. He'd open her door for her. He'd bring her a drink. And he'd just be so, so sweet. Y'all are so amazing together, and I know that you will just work better and better as you spend more time with each other. You're going to have so much fun together, and I'm so excited for you. Even if you stole my May God bless the both of you and give you love and laughter, joy and peace. I love the both of you so, so much. May God bless you.
My name's Emily, and I have known Lydia since I was 10 years old. She first came over from Germany, and I got to know her at my music teacher's house. And believe it or not, the first time we met, I was in the corner, little nerd that I am, reading a book. And she came in with her mom to just get things that the music teacher was donating to them, because when they came, they had nothing. And the first thing her mom says to her in German, which I found out years later, she said, she looks like a friendly girl. You should make friends with her. And she said, Mom, she's a nerd. She's reading books in the corner. She told me this years later, I think actually when we were 18. But even though our language barrier, because she did not know English when she came over, we managed to become friends. We played tag in the front yard. Didn't know a word of what each other spoke. But I was also blessed to have this past year Lydia as my roommate, and how much fun it has been. This is the girl who drugged me on impromptu traveling vacations. We went out west together and lived out of a van for a week. We had the best fun that we could have ever had. Did we do a few things that were a little crazy? Maybe. We ended up at a sketchy one-star motel, did not stay, but quite the experience. This is also the girl who would paint with me in the summers, just for free time. And also my committed gym buddy, who I drug out of bed at 5 in the morning before I would go to work, and she came with me. But this is also the person who stuck by my side through all the hard times and all the changes in the years. But I knew one day this would all change because, well, though God blesses you, He does have a plan for your life in the future. And one day I came home from work to the apartment, and I look at her face, and she's staring at her phone and smiling a little bit more than usual. And I look at her and I say, so, who's the guy? Little did I know, the next day, I saw this giant red truck pull in front of the apartment. And I see her trot down the stairs out the door, and this country guy in boots hops out, walks around, and opens the door for her. All the while, my now fiance and I hiding below the windowsill and saying, rev it, as he pulls off down the road. In the first week that I got to know Trace, I came home the second day, and he's hanging a light fixture in the kitchen. The next day, I walk around, I come home, he's fixing all the squeaky doors. And then the next time, Lydia's been sick, and I come back, and he's cooking chicken noodle soup on the stove. Lydia, he can cook, you can get away with not cooking. But also in the first week that I knew him, we went on a group hike, and this is where I discovered, oh, he is like my brothers, because we hike up to a swimming hole, and we're all bent over feeling the water. It's April. You don't swim in a swimming hole in April. But I bent over to feel the water, and all of a sudden, I got soaked from head to toe. And I look over, and the culprit is this man right there. Yes, skip a rock by throwing a giant one in front of me. But in this moment, I debated, do I shove him in the water and probably get dragged in with him? No, I'm not going to do it. This is the first week I met him. I'm going to be nice. I should have done it because now he is like another sibling. But this man has taken care of Lydia when she's been sick, when she's needed friendship and companionship, and took her on many adventures. and worked on teaching her how to drive a stick shift. So, needless to say, God bless you with a truly amazing man who is going to be now your forever roommate. But I want to say that God bless you both. And Trace, you're the perfect man to take care of her.
Everybody said a lot of great things about Trace. And one thing that Jonas said was partner. Something about Trace is an underdog. He always does well as an underdog. No matter what situation you put him in, the worse it is to his favor, the better you are. Trace grew up, he was the boy in between two sets of girls, 2 girls above him and 2 girls below him. And me and Lawson, we were right together. So we were brothers, we did everything. And Trace was always like the odd man out. He was growing up, he was always younger, and he always had girls on both sides of him in sibling age order. And me and Lawson could always win everything because we were older. And then the day came when Trace started winning. Doesn't matter what it is. He started winning basketball. He started winning football. He started winning. No matter what we do, Trace started getting better than us. And me or Lawson never believed it would happen. It was one of those things, you just don't imagine that becoming reality. But it did. And no matter what Trace does, he's good at it. Growing up, Trace was the shy one in the family. Me and Lawson were not shy, and Trace was always the shy kid. And eventually, Trace became more outgoing than both of us. He became a smoother talker. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. When Trace starts as being a smooth talker, we were all shocked. But it just came natural. But I got the privilege of serving with Trace in a couple different environments. I remember when Trace went to Bible college and really got a passion for young people and teaching to kids and sharing the gospel and teaching the Bible. And we got to go to the Philippines together. And I remember we were there after an earthquake had happened, and we were working in refugee camps. And Trace was playing with all these kids while we were doing medical clinics and provided humanitarian aid. And Trace probably has 500 kids he's playing with. And when we leave, these kids are hanging on to Trace and crying. I mean, they just met him, but they're crying as he leaves. Because, he was like the hero they always imagined. Trace just has that personality. And, you're right, Lydia. Everybody does need a cowboy. And it's about time everyone discovers that. When it came to horses, I used to be the man, I love to break horses and, ride horses. And then Trace, of course, he got better at horses. So I quit doing that. No matter what it is, I used to play football. He got better. I quit doing that. Everything I did, Trace was better. But Trace, as time went on, I saw Trace pour his heart into different areas. He started working with the sheriff's department. He gave it 100%. When he went there, he graduated top of his class. And everything that Trace does, he comes in, he gives it all of his heart. Last year, we were in Haiti together, and there was a big earthquake that had hit. A lot of people had died, and just seeing Trace pour his heart out. Before we went on that trip, it was kind of a risky situation. The president had just got assassinated, and gangs had taken over, and we had a team meeting, and we said, some of us might not come back from this one. And Trace, he was like, I'm in. And we get there, and my lead medical officer, when we're going through, picking who do you want to go with you and teammates, everybody always wants Trace. They always pick Trace. And sure enough, he's hanging out with our medical officer. When we leave, the 2 Navy SEALs on the team, they're like, hey, we want Trace to come with us. That's the kind of man Trace is. He is that partner that he's good at everything he does, and he gives everything 100% while he's there. So it's been great getting to know Trace, getting to work with him. When we went to school to learn how to skydive, of course, he was the best. He made it to 50 jumps before everybody else did. He always has the ability to just perform. But with that, a lot of people see how amazing Trace is at his athletics and his abilities. But he also has a heart for the Lord and for people. And that's something I've got to see working with Trace over the years. I couldn't be happier for Trace and Lydia. Another good thing about being in his position is you get to learn from a lot of people's mistakes, and he saw me and Lawson make a lot of them. And when it comes to relationships, he did things a lot better than us. So I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of you and Lydia, and you're going to have a great time in Hawaii.
I thought, what would be the blessing to speak over them? And what would I want when I would be in this situation, my life in front of me and not knowing what the future holds. And looking back, I can only say the best thing that ever happened in my life was that I found a shepherd that would guide me through my life. And then I found my wife to go this path, this way with me. And I thought a good blessing to speak over them would be the words that David wrote about the good shepherd. And let's speak these words of David. The Lord is your shepherd. You shall not want. He makes you to lie down in green pastures. He leads you beside the still waters. He restores your soul. He leads you in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though you walk through the valley of death, you will fear no evil, for he is with you. His rod and his staff, they comfort you. He prepares a table before you in the presence of your enemies. He anoints your head with oil. Your cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life, and you will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Lord, I want to thank you that we can place Lydia and Trace into your good hands, that you are their good shepherd, as you have been for us as their parents, and we thank you so much that you are the good shepherd, and that you will guide them through all the different phases in their lives, and that we can trust them into your hands. Yes. Lord, bless them, protect them, keep them safe, and let them prosper, and make them soul winners for you, so that they will continue to be a blessing for many, many people. We thank you that we can be sure that you will do everything, because we have experienced your blessings in our lives.
Amen.
And we praise you and honor your name. Amen.
I have two Bible verses. The Lord gave me. One was in July, or maybe earlier in May. That's Psalm 16, verse 8. You have set the Lord always before you. Because he is at your right hand, you shall not be moved. And then Isaiah 62, verse 3, the Lord gave me yesterday. And it's so fitting. You shall be a crown of beauty in the hand of the Lord, and a royal diadem in the hand of your God. The Lord will go before you to prepare a place where your feet can walk. God will make a way for you where there is none. The Lord may bless your coming in and going out. His goodness and mercy will run after you all the days of your life. The Lord's hand is on you to bless you and your children. You are blessed to be a blessing. The Lord will lead you to green pastures and refresh you with living water. He will carry you with his unending love. He will quiet you in his arms. He is your peace in the midst of the storms. He covers you with his wings. With Jesus, you can climb mountains. When you fall, he will pick you up. You can stand in the fire and not even smell like smoke. You can sleep in the storm because he is the Lord over the storm and is right with you. You can walk through the dark valley and never be alone. In the night season, he will be your song, and you can face any battle. No fiery arrow can hurt you. What Satan brings for evil, God will turn for good. No battle is too hard for our God. No storm is too big. He is Lord of all. Underneath you are strong arms. All around you are his angels. You are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. You will impact many people and lead them to the light. You are precious to God and the world. You have God's grace to move into the next season of your life. The table is prepared. Your head is anointed with fresh oil, and your cup runs over with goodness. You will soar high like eagles. Nothing can touch you. The Most High is your dwelling place. His name is your strong tower. You will not be shaken. He will deliver you from the snare. He will cover you with his wings. No evil will come near you. The Lord hears your prayers and counts your tears. He is with you on the mountains, and he is with you in the valleys. You will prosper and have more than enough, because your Father owns it all and is rich for all who call to him. Our God is willing to give, so go to him and ask. He has good thoughts over your life, thoughts of hope and peace and of a good future. His tender mercies and loving kindness will surround you. His cloud of glory will be your guide. His name will be your shield. Put your hands in the hands of your strong Heavenly Father and let him lead you. Lord, please bind Lydia's and Trace's heart together with your heart and bless them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Question number 1, y'all have to raise them up real high so everybody can see. Everybody's real curious. Lydia, no peeking back there. Number 1, who was interested first? Lydia, you gotta decide. Who's it gonna be? And all right, Trace. They both agreed. Trace was interested first. She was trying to say both, though. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. All right. You can't raise both, though. Can't raise both from now on. We'll give it to you on the first one. Number 2, who said, "I love you" first? Out of the way. That's the way it ought to be. All right, number 3. Yeah, that's right. Who is the best gift giver? Oh, one of each. Awesome. All right, good stuff. Good job, you guys. Number 4, who's better at keeping secrets? And they both agree it's Lydia. Hey, y'all remember that in your future interactions with them. Number 5, who's more romantic? Oh, they each say the other. Okay. All right, number 6, who's the best driver? All right, they both say Trace. That's good. We'll let Lydia drive the getaway car. Number 7. This is one of those dangerous ones, all right? So just think about this. Number 7, who's more likely to start an argument? All right, they each took it on themselves. This is going really well. This is going really well. This is good. Number 8, who does the dishes more? And who will do the dishes more? John Wayne says the wife. And Lydia disagrees. Which brings us back to question number 7 on starting those arguments. Question number 9, Who is the better, and not just chicken noodle soup, but that was a great move. Who is the better cook? Trace, it is. Okay. So Trace can cook and Trace can do the dishes then when they're done. That's awesome. Number 10, here we go. Who is more stubborn? All right, they each say themselves. All right, man, this is good. Nobody's throwing anybody under the bus tonight. This is a great way to set the tone for your marriage. Good work, you guys. I think this is number 11 at this point. Who's counting? But who is needier when they're sick? Okay, good stuff. That's how all of us guys are usually. All right, next question. Who spends the most money? Oh, all right, he said Lydia. Here we go. Trace was real close to just taking it on himself again. Really trying. He's working hard tonight, you guys. All right, next question. Who's more likely to forget birthdays and anniversaries? All right, Lydia. Oh, Lydia. Trace, you're being too good tonight, man. You're doing a great job. All right. 2 more questions here. Next one, who met the in-laws first? Lydia, all right. That's right. Get that, take that big one out of the way all at once there. All 19 and the two parents, the whole deal. Good job, you guys. Last question. Who is the pickier eater? Trace, that sounds about right. All right, guys, give it up for the bride and groom.
Ellie, I didn't forget.